Hey there, my friends. It's Tom with Watching River, Sunday by the River. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I hope you're well. I want to start off by reading Psalm 20. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob defend you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and strengthen you out of Zion. May he remember all your offerings and accept your burnt sacrifice. May he grant you according to your heart's desire and fulfill all your purpose. We will rejoice in your salvation, and in the name of our God we will set up our banners. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They have bowed down and fallen, but we have risen and stand up upright. Save, Lord. May the King answer us when we call. How beautiful is that song? So beautiful. So Sundays, we do different videos here than the rest of the week. We don't cover the news. We don't do Clown World, although we're living in Clown World. But today, on Sundays, we just pray for each other, and we use the comment section below the video to list our prayer requests. Sometimes it's for ourselves, and sometimes it's for others. And that's what I ask you to do. And I always ask you, please don't just leave when you leave a comment. Maybe pray for a few people and thumb up their comment. Let them know you prayed for them. God's house is a house of prayer. Very important. God honors prayer. And we are just, the Watching River family is just this little sliver of the body of Christ. But our reputation is being prayer warriors. And that thrills me to no end. It gives me joy. So if you don't mind, I will say a prayer and then we will get busy. Okay? Father in heaven, you are so good. Please help me to forget the camera so close to my face. Let me just be talking to you. Father, I thank you for your grace and for your mercy. I thank you that you sent your only begotten Son to die in our stead. You are so good. You are so faithful. So full of grace and mercy and kindness. You are majestic. You are pure. Thank you. Lord, I lift up my brothers and sisters. The ones that belong to you, Lord. There are so many struggles in these last days, financial struggles, and health struggles, and relationship struggles, and spiritual struggles, Lord. I lift them all up to you, Lord, today. Bless and encourage my brothers and sisters all over the world the way only you can. Show them your presence today, Almighty God. Be with them in their troubles. Show them that you're there walking them through the valleys that we all face. You are so good, and I thank you for sending your only begotten Son, Jesus, to pay for our sins. Jesus, I love you. I can't wait to be face to face with you. I can't wait to sing your praises forever and ever because you are Lord. God willing. I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and I'm going to talk about how demons are manifesting in people. In this week, there have been 3 very disturbing news stories that I've seen. The first of which is that the Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife were stabbed to death, and it looks like they were stabbed to death by their own son. I know Rob Reiner directed The Princess Bride. That movie was a big part of my childhood. It had Andre the Giant.
Are you ready?
I just remember a lot of stuff in that movie. I watched it a lot as a kid, kind of over and over. It was a big fixture in our house, so I definitely want to, just say, like, it's a really messed up thing. And, what possesses their son to stab their own parents to death? I don't know what happened. I don't know what went on behind the scenes or anything, but, there had to be some kind of demon that was in that son. I guess the son struggled with drugs and a lot of stuff like that, and I have a lot of my own struggles and problems. I'm not going to judge that, but that stuff opens up demonic doorways. And when someone is just going crazy and off the rails like that and just has a whole host full of demons in them, who knows what they could do, and it really looks like they did something very horrible to their own parents. And I know Rob Reiner is very, they're very Democrat kind of people. They have some different political views than me, but that doesn't change how horrific that murder is. That doesn't change how horrific that event is. That does not change the loss of life. And obviously that's something that, I really am I really screwed up about it. I guess thoughts and prayers with the Reiner family. I mean, obviously not with the son if he killed his own parents. Messed up situation, and I feel a lot of sadness and grief that happened. Really horrible, terrible thing. The next one is there was a school shooting at Brown University. Suspect still at large. 2 people got shot. And again, what possesses someone to just go and kill 2 people at random? At a university? That's just a really evil, messed up, horrible thing. And there's a big spiritual evil that's going on inside of people and on the earth that's causing these kinds of just crazy things to happen. And we didn't used to hear about this many random school shootings, or there just didn't used to be as many of these things going on. And the next one that happened is in Australia. 15 people were shot down in another mass shooting in what they're calling an act of terrorism. And these were some Jews gathering to celebrate Hanukkah. I grew up as an Orthodox Jew. I'm rocking with Jesus now, but I used to celebrate that a lot as a kid. You light the menorah, you spin the dreidel, you eat these latkes. They're kind of like hash browns. You eat these fried potatoes. It's a celebration commemorating the victory of the Maccabee soldiers over the Seleucid Greeks. And there's a miracle of how, the temple menorah was lit for 8 days and 8 nights, despite them only having enough oil for 1 day. So, Jews will do a lot of fried food to commemorate that and to remember the oil that lasted, and to remember the miraculous victory over the Seleucid Greeks. But yeah, they're just doing their thing, having their celebration, and a father and a son show up and start blasting them. Talk about a messed up father-son activity, I don't spend that much time with my dad. We didn't do a lot of father-son activities, but I guess this father and son were binded together in evil. They probably shared the same demons and went ahead and did something really, really, really horrible and really terrible. 15 people were dead. Countless people were injured. It's absolutely awful. It's absolutely awful, these things. And, it's not just regular evil. It's not just greed. It's not just selfishness. There's evil spirits and evil demons that are inside these people, pushing them to do these very violent, messed up, evil things, And again, we didn't used to hear about this type of stuff happening this much. These kinds of things used to be more rare. You didn't used to hear about this kind of stuff as much, but, the world's becoming a more evil place. The morals and the ethics of the world are going down. People have less morals, less ethics. There's less community. There's less sanity. There's less normality. People are all obsessed with politics. You know, we're seeing a lot more of these crazy demonized people just running amok in society, and it's only a matter of time before they do crazy, dangerous, nuts things, and a lot of people get hurt. And you know, we really need to look at the world and look at how we're living and look at what our values are and start to make the changes. You know, we need better, stronger communities. We need to love our fellow more. We need to be way less obsessed with politics. We need to actually put God first and, you know, like love each other, you know, like put the God of love and kindness first. Put the God of love, truth, and kindness first, and not judge each other, help each other out. You know, neighbors helping neighbors, family helping family, friends helping friends. Like, we need so much more of that. And, you know, that's going away. And that's why these demons are coming into these people. Because, you know, when there's a lack of righteousness, when people are doing evil things, when we have a very selfish society, that opens up a doorway for these demons to come in and to take people over. And then the evil just becomes evil on top of evil and becomes worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's why we have to see all these news stories and hear about all these horrific things that are happening in the world, you know? And there's no excuse for any of these things. Like, this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening. There's no excuse for it. It should not be happening. It's evil. It's awful. It's horrible. It's terrible. The people who are doing it, it's like, what possesses them to do it? Because they don't get money from it. They don't gain anything from it. They just have these spirits of violence that have taken them over. These spirits, these demons of violence that have taken them over and are using them to commit acts of violence against innocent, unsuspecting people who do not deserve this type of stuff at all, you know, not at all. And, you know, we all need to pray for this world to change, you know. We need to pray for this world to be saved. We need to pray for this generation. Because this generation we're in is a very wicked generation. You know, we're living in wicked times, in a very wicked generation, and very wicked things are happening in the world. And we try to act like things are good on the outside, but things are not good on the outside, you know. Things are not good on the inside either, you know. That's what I really meant to say, but, you know, we try to make things look good on the outside, but on the inside, things are bad. Things are really bad. Things are really messed up. People are really twisted up. And, you know, we really need to have a big change in our society, a big change in the world, a big change in people just loving their fellow more, people being more kind, more accepting, less judgmental, you know. We need to set a better standard in our society, too. You know, there's no real standard. There's no real sense that we all need to have good morals and good ethics and love each other. It's more just like, do whatever, you know. Do whatever. Who cares? Be apathetic. You know, don't look out for each other. Don't care about each other. And this is what it's leading to. Absolute insanity. Absolute chaos, you know. And that's the thing. There's a spirit of chaos, you know. If we had order in our society, this type of stuff wouldn't happen. People live lives of good order. And I'm not saying I'm this perfect person who lives this life of good order. I have my own problems, but if we in general as a society like had a sense of good order, the proper order of things, you know, just like doing things properly, doing things the right way, having good morals, having good ethics, but there's no order. What we have when there's a lack of order is chaos. There's chaos, craziness, and insanity. And we're seeing this chaos, this craziness, and this insanity just manifest everywhere. Everywhere, you know? And if we don't start to do anything about it, if we don't start to really pray about it and take action about it and, you know, start to make that change, this stuff is just going to happen more and more and more and more because more and more people are completely losing their minds, you know? And people really lack a sense of truth. You know, people have no sense of truth or what is right or wrong or what is moral or ethical. When people lose their sense of truth, they go down some insane ideological rabbit hole, some insane political rabbit hole, some insane radicalized rabbit hole, whatever. They take on some crazy ideology. They think that crazy ideology is right, and then they start doing nut stuff, God knows what, you know? With all three of these cases I brought up, there is a spirit of chaos in the midst of it. You know, there is no order there. It's just chaos and craziness. And chaos and craziness leads to innocent people getting hurt. It leads to people who did not deserve to have these things happen to them. And a lot of this chaos in our society is being enabled, you know? We have this idea of moral relativism, that there is no real true right or wrong, that just right and wrong is made up. No morals or ethics. Right and wrong is just a social, societal construct. It's just some junk we make up to keep society in order, you know? And that's not true. You know, there is actual true right and wrong. There is immutable right and wrong, you know? That is laid out by God, you know? We do. We have solid, immutable right and wrong. And people started to really connect to that and started to live their life by that and started to internalize that in their heart, we wouldn't have this crazy stuff happening. Because this crazy stuff, it didn't happen that much back in the day, you know? This kind of stuff is like, it's manifesting much more in this generation. And it's because we have a wicked generation that is embracing chaos over order, We have a wicked generation that is embracing hatred over love. We have a wicked generation that's embracing crazy political ideologies over actual truth. You know, people got to chill about the politics because, I mean, the first case with Rob Reiner, I don't know if politics have to do with that, but the other two, I kind of get the sense there's probably some crazy politics or some crazy ideology that was in the mix with it, you know? And there's no reason random people should be getting blasted like that. There's no reason a child should kill their own parents. There's no justifiable reason for any of this. It's just evil. It's just straight up, it's just the devil, straight up. It's just straight up, unabashed, immoral, unethical evil that's taking hold of our society. And, you know, we have to start to do something. We have to start to live goodness in our lives, you know? We have to start to live a life of good morals and good ethics and loving our fellow and helping others out and taking care of each other and being kind to one another. We have to start embracing those values. We have to start spreading that around, that like, hey, we all got to treat each other better. We all got to care about each other more. Because a lot of people look to politics. Well, we're going to, you know, make this new law that's going to stop this or whatever. It's like, politics got us into this mess and it's not going to get us out, you know? It's going to come down to our spirit and our heart and our character and how we treat others. It really is, you know? And right now, people's characters are really not good. People are very selfish and very egotistical, you know? They are, and that's what this is leading to. This egotistical, selfish nature that's kind of become the dominant nature of everybody. It's leading to pain and suffering and chaos and craziness and violence. It's leading to violence, and it's like, you just get desensitized to these stories. Like, another school shooting. Yeah, you know, another one happened, whatever, you know? But it's like, we need to really, this is a wake-up call. You know, God's trying to give us a wake-up call here as a society to be like, wake up, you know, wake up. This society needs to become more righteous, because if society doesn't become more righteous, society will descend into chaos and craziness. And these demons are just going to take people over because the people are letting the demons in by being egotistical and selfish and perverse and evil and, you know, not living life the right way, being hateful, not being loving. And, you know, but as a society, we're asleep. We're asleep. We're staying asleep. We're asleep at the wheel, and we're just like, whatever. Well, I didn't get shot in the school shooting, so, you know, who cares? Or, we'll make a new law. We'll ban a certain, you know, if your rifle has this kind of certain handle to it, we'll ban that, and, you know, it'll stop happening. And, you know, we'll do another, more of a psychiatric evaluation on people, and it'll stop it. It's not, you know. We need to get to the spiritual roots of what's really going on here, you know? People think politics is going to save this, or some politician's going to come in and change everything and save everything. It's going to start with all of us. And it's going to start with all of us waking up and realizing that our society is seriously sick, seriously broken, seriously messed up. The world is seriously sick. The world is seriously messed up. And that we need to start making the change, loving one another a lot more, taking care of each other a lot more, and just having a much better attitude toward one another, having a true attitude of love and kindness towards one another, and that will heal this messed up world. But if we keep going the way we're going, the world's going to go down the tubes. And there's going to be more and more of this stuff, and pretty soon it's going to happen near you, at your school, or at your workplace, or at your community gathering. And, you know, once that happens, it's like, you know, maybe that will be the point to when we finally make the change. But the warning signs are there. The warning signs are there, and it's really time to, you know, start making the change, start loving each other more, start being more kind to each other, and just to try to make this world a better place. So thank you all so much for watching. Much love. God bless. And I will see you all next time.
share, subscribe, like this video. Make sure you put your prayer request in the bottom. I know it's late, but all of a sudden now San Francisco had been pretty quiet for a couple of hours. Then I saw an uptick hit around 9 something, and then it increased. Just one after another. One, bam, 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 bam. But then, in the last 10 minutes, it's 11:10 now while I'm recording this, a pretty decent earthquake hit Alaska and Japan at the same time. Looks like the whole ring of fire is just starting to activate all the way up and down it. So keep your eyes open if you're in the West Coast. Earthmaster's not come on yet. He probably won't come on until about 1 or 2 in the morning unless it gets out of hand, and then he'll come back on earlier. He's already been on once today, warning, and there's already a megaquake warning out for the Pacific Coast. So you got to keep your eyes on this. Now, if you're in San Francisco, down and towards the bottom of the Cascadia, just keep your eyes open. You feel shaky. There's already been reports of people feeling shaking in their homes around the San Francisco Bay, all the way up and down that area. Is this the one God warned us about? I don't know. Could be. That's why we're here. We're here to watch. And that's why I've kept my eyes on this since God gave it to me, and it's never happened until now. Today, this is started on September the 22nd. That's when I saw the activity start. It's been 89 days today that area has been one storm after another, all the way up and down, even all the way down to Los Angeles, down into San Diego, all the way up into the bottom of the Cascadia. So we're seeing lots of activity, and it's due. It's way over. So keep your eyes on it, okay? Now, that's not the only thing that's breaking tonight, late at night. Like I said, I keep my eyes on this stuff, and I have felt really bad today. I know it's where I worked my tail end off yesterday in that cold air. I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. And I knew I was going to probably pay for it. I didn't think I was going to pay for it that soon, but of course, it's just one thing after another. God bless you guys for keeping your prayers, because I need it. Because you're talking about being fought. Every single thing I touch right now is being fought. We're feeding a ton of people tomorrow, around 3 to 7, and we're handing out tons of Bibles and everything else. And then after that, we're working to try to get down here to the bridge to help the homeless. And the devil is completely mad at me at every cost. He is literally fighting me with everything he's got to try to stop me in what we're doing down here. We're making a big push. Not just here, like I said today. We sent out deliveries of Bibles to Indiana and other states today. So he is not happy with us. And that's good. That's what we want. We want him not happy with us. He's sure smacking me with everything he's got. So definitely keep me in your prayers. All right. 6 countries have committed tonight to joining Trump's Board of Peace. So that's 6. The U.S. expects the leaders of Egypt, Qatar, UAE, UK, Italy, Germany to sit on the top panel, overseeing the Strip's rebuild. It's funny that Egypt's there. There's so much stuff here in Scripture. I do believe we're actively the people. I do believe we're Jesus. I do believe. Now, we didn't cover the Epstein files. 90% of it was redacted again, so we didn't cover that. I do believe this is going to put more pressure on them to do something really crazy to get everybody's mind on it, because people are not happy. But you got to be careful when you're trying to even talk about it. We talked about this. I mean, they wait for me to join that. So we have to be very careful. And we have to do another job. That does not pertain to us, because we're learning. So we can't lose the channel over something like that. Okay? We just can't. There could be 4 people that get saved from here to the rapture. We can't put that in jeopardy. Now, China says the region's closer to war due to U.S.-Taiwan arms package. We just seized another ship. China gets pretty much all their oil from Russia and Venezuela. And right now, the Venezuelan Navy is escorting a vessel to China. It's getting, I'm telling you, talking about walking on dynamite. People, if they only knew just how close this was to ending, they'd all be on their knees. But just like Jesus said they would totally be ignoring it, going about their business, living in the world, ignoring every warning sign there is. You know, we've been talking to a lot of people, and they were stunned about what was going on, because they had no clue. They go to church, they don't have no clue. And I tell them, listen to me. You know, we talk about what's happening out there that people don't talk about. Because, like I said, the media has controlled people in these days. It's controlled. The government tells them what to put out and what not to put. So they literally, just like hiding the earthquakes and stuff like that that's been going on for the last 6 months, we've been watching this up at Mount Rainier and all these places. Listen, they don't want people on the West Coast to know this stuff's coming. They don't. It's like when this war does finally kick off, people are going to get it. Just not. They believe the government's there to help them and they're going to come save them, but boy, they're going to get a rude awakening. Well, I tell you, put your faith in Jesus, not me. That doesn't mean don't pay your taxes. That doesn't mean to not support the country. It doesn't mean that. It just means you put Jesus first, and then everything underneath it, and then you can see clearly what's happening. It's not that hard. But see, people get everything mixed up. They put the world first, and then God's way down here. Something. Okay. The truth's the truth. A lot of people use God to get out of, just so they can escape hell, basically. They don't have a relationship with it. That's the biggest problem today. They carry the name of Christian, but there's nothing to show for it, okay? And I'm not saying it works, okay? Works don't get you to heaven, but you got to show some kind of fruit towards the kingdom, and that's what we talk about, okay? It's not worse, just you need to see. Listen, you're building up rewards in heaven, okay? That's what you're doing. You're going to get a crown just for watching it. And the thing is today, people just, I had a woman the other day talking to me. She was going to this church and she couldn't get anything done, so she just went on her own and started handing out Bibles. That's what I'm talking about. We've got to get out there because they're not coming to us anymore. That's what I'm talking about. And if you truly believe, like we do, that we're out of time, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be out in the public, doing your best to talk to people. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can be blessed in that. But just little things, praying for, all of our watchers on the wall and the ones, the evangelists out there that are on the streets trying to get that in, praying for them. Little things adds up to all this, because let me tell you something, we're outnumbered 50 to 1 here. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We're just outnumbered. All right, let's see. So Netanyahu has made it clear he wants to attack Iran again. So that's going to be what they're going to talk about in Mar-a-Lago. You can see this thing building. Now, Maduro calls Trump's bluff, ignores Trump's threats. The Venezuelan Navy now escorts its own tankers. This is the part I told you we need to watch to see what they do with the Venezuelan Navy, because this is where it could go out of control. And it only takes one ship to be sunk if it's just a mistake. And this is a place where you need to be praying for our young men and women on those ships, okay? Make sure you're praying for our young women and men, the Marines there, that's right there on that coastline, and our men and women of the Navy. Make sure that you keep them in your prayers, because like I said, they're put in danger, okay? So, let's see. What else is coming in here real quick? Yeah, we're like in a mad scramble. Just trying, because we know what time it is. We're just in a mad scramble, trying to get out as much information as possible. All right, all these EQs is red areas of 5.8 magnitude earthquakes or greater since Monday, December 14th. So since December the 14th, it's picked up. It's getting active indeed. What we're actually seeing is an extreme tightness of the jammed plate squeezing either side from such forces moving north. It's grinding heavy before it can release with a much larger quake. That's why they put out a mega quake warning. Like I said, tonight within a 5-minute span, we saw one hit Japan, we saw one hit Alaska. Both of them, the one in Japan was a 5.2, the one in Alaska was a 5, and they reduced it down to 4.7. But you're seeing that ring of fire is really starting to wake up, so we got to pay attention to it. All right, let's see. It's dead, and we don't want to have too much info. Now, there's a lot of reports that major cities around the world have started calling off New Year's celebration, special events because of all this. Because the other day, there was another team getting ready to go there in Australia. They attacked that Hanukkah festival. They was going to do it. This time, thank you, Jesus, they stopped it before it happened. But they're getting persistent. That's why I told you, if you're out and about, if you are out on New Year's Eve, if we're still here, or even Christmas, if you're in a church and you're having something, listen, I would just tell my pastor, hey, keep your eyes open. Right now's the time for everybody to be aware that the devil is just declared full out. That's the only way I can describe it. What I have faced since November, since we went out and started helping the homeless and everything, I have never been attacked like this, ever. And I promise you, and I've been working for the Lord for a very long time. I have never seen such a spiritual war. We have to be, because what I'm seeing, it's a battlefield, just trying to get across to get this stuff done. I promise you, I've never seen it. If it wasn't for you family members just praying and praying, I don't know how we would have got it. How we got it done. We probably wouldn't have got it done. Because you guys are just constantly praying protection over us, because I'm telling you, it is a war out there like I've never seen. A lot of brothers and sisters are saying you can almost feel it, taste it, see it. You can't. It's almost thick. It's like the veil is just ready to crash at any time. A lot of watchmen are talking about it now as we speak. That just tells me we're very close. And what I'm seeing in San Francisco tells me we're pretty darn close to whatever's about to happen. Now, we know all this, these events, when they do crash, it's going to be simultaneously. We've told you that for a while. And we're seeing all the pieces. Okay, it's like we're looking at a checkerboard here. Better yet, a chessboard. And the pieces are all there, and it's just ready to it's a mess. The world is strategically positioning its militaries for this day. We can already see it. Monkey's been talking about it on Monkey Works. They're moving their assets, especially in the Middle East, which we know that's one place that's going to fire off. So we see it moving, then we add the earthquakes, the crazy storms, we still got the crazy flooding going on everywhere. I just had tornadoes in December. The warning signs are all there. It's like, Jesus, like I keep saying, it's like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Don't hang your head that this ain't coming, because it's coming, and it's coming quicker. I've talked to many people across the board, from Watchmen all the way to TikTok. They can all see it too. There is a lot of stuff on the move. And we know we're on the verge of the rapture. We know it. That's 100%. We know it's here somewhere. So keep your eyes open. Don't lose your crown. People's going to tell you there's nothing to look at, nothing to see here. That's what the devil wants you to do. Listen, I want to also thank every one of you. And I want to get into some of the thank yous tonight, because you guys are what makes all this possible on the ground that we're doing in multiple states. So let me get into that. And I should have had it prepared better, but like I said, I haven't felt good tonight. And I'm just fighting off everything known to man at this point. It has not been a fun day, and I've not been happy about it. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, I've got to get some of these, because you all have been remarkably amazing as usual, helping us on the ground. Okay, I want to thank Happy Days Are Coming. Jesus has the door opening. Now, that is very true. Patty Duchette, you are very correct, and she always helps us with Bibles all the time. All right, it's been a long time since I donated Bibles. I apologize for that. Please stay safe. God, I love you. Thank you, Chris, for what you're doing. Take care. Patty Duchette. Patty, honey, you've done so much, honey. You don't have to worry about that. You have put Bibles into a lot of people's hands. All right, Steve Smiley, thank you for what you do. He's another one that absolutely always helping us. Also, wishing you a Merry Christmas, but with passion pleasures. Let me see the name on that one. Also, Roma Walling, thank you for helping us out with everything we're doing. Let's see. Okay. They just want to send me some medicine. God bless you all for sending me medicine too. They can send me vitamins, everything, trying to get me back on track. I've been taking them. Merry Christmas, Gabe. No, Chris ordered some. These are the supplements for you to help maintain earliest shipping date, which I already have. That's from Charlotte Alvarez. Thank you, Charlotte. I am taking it. Let's see. Patricia Clemens, thank you for helping us with everything we're doing here on the ground. Also, love and prayer from Kim. God bless you, Kim, helping us out here. Donna Lanston, thank you also for the card and everything that you do. Without you family members, we couldn't get any of this done. That's just the bottom line. Rhonda Beetle, thank you for what you've done, helping us out. In Florida. She's always been with us. Let's see, Russ and Lucy Stewart. That's from South Carolina. God bless you both for helping us out here always. Let's see. Looks like Elsie McCon, and that's coming from Kansas. We got a lot of listeners out there in Kansas, and God bless them. Stephen Bowe. Stephen Bowe has been helping us from the beginning. Just absolutely does a lot with us on the ground. C. Owen, thank you for everything you've done to help us out here. Also, Steve Smiley, he's another one that absolutely helps us with Bibles all the time, putting Bibles out there in multiple places. Thank you, Alexander, for everything you do. Let's see. That's from Kim Nancy. I think that's how you say name. I probably got it wrong, but God bless you for everything you do. Sending me and Gabe a card for Christmas. Let's see. Here is Kim from Enzy, I think. This one is coming from South Washington. God bless you. Also, Alex S., thank you for the card and everything you do. Also, Kim, yeah, that's Krinsky. Also, the Beamans, thank you for everything you do, for sending us cards and everything. God bless everybody for Christmas cards. Pray for your health and strength. We love to listen to your videos. We hope these Bibles will help you. This is coming from your brothers and sisters in Christ in Tennessee. God bless you guys. You know who you are. Jesus knows who you are. That's what's important. Jesus knows what you guys do on the ground. Let's see, my name's, let's see, thank you so much, Roxanne Carperson. Let's see, my name is Amy, living in Ohio. I could have come home. Your son's name is Cody. God bless you, Wanda Carpenter, I think. Also, Sandra Siovan. Also, Newbert also always does everything with us with Bibles on the ground. This one's from Hartford. Let's see, that is from Stephen LaJoy. Thank you. Also, Alan LaRosa. Thank you. So that gets everybody. Like I said, these are the people each and every month putting Bibles on the ground everywhere we look. And they're also helping with the ones who do buy me coffees, buy PayPal and everything. That's buying homeless people food, tents, the backpacks. I will take a picture of those. The backpacks have made it here, and we're going to look at it, where I'm going to actually let you see what's inside of them. I've got regular backpacks ordered that will be coming this way, and then we'll fill them with Bibles also. Some of you all sent deodorant, soap, toothbrushes, and stuff like that. We're going to put those in them too. So we're going to do that with all the other ones. We're also doing it on the West Coast, where they have a major homeless problem. Sister Shelley will be getting supplies out there, and others to start giving out there with the Bibles, with the backpacks, and we're going to, listen, we're all over the place. But we know what time we're in. This is why, okay? This is why we tell you. Right now, we know we have limited time, and we're really just trying to get as many people on the boat as possible and try to help us so many tribulation saints that we know they're on deck. We know that their time is here. They don't know it, but it is here. It's here somewhere very soon. So if we can get this stuff out in their path, like a lot of you all have done with your rapture letters and all that stuff, don't think that stuff is little. That's big, okay? Letting them know what happened, because a lot of them they've never read a Bible, and they've never been to church. So a lot of these people are going to be completely like, what happened? They're going to believe the alien invasion, which that's another thing that's on deck too. That's why 3i Atlas has been hanging around. They know the rapture's here too, and that's their excuse, and they're hanging on to it. Okay? So everything's there. The great lie's already ready to go. Everything's ready to go, except us at this point. And then when Jesus pulls that lever, then we go up, and then they're going to be like, okay, what just happened? The government's going to tell them it was aliens. That's what they're going to do. Elena's always been talking about this for years. The lie, and they're really pushing it with this disclosure thing coming out in June. The lie is being put in place because they know it's here too. They know the rapture's here somewhere. They're preparing for it. That's why we're preparing. We're getting people on the boat and getting the tribulation saints the tools that they're going to need, that they can run into once they're out and about, because you're not going to be able to buy a Bible. That's over. So we've been able to put a lot of them in circulation that they can run into. And that's all you guys. And God knows each and every one of you that did it. He knows. He knows each and every one. Did the PayPals, buy me coffees, everything to contribute to Bibles. Each and every one. And thank you for having the courage to, work towards the kingdom and help knowing what we know, that the end is here somewhere. Because that's faith. Knowing where we are. And you can see it out there in the news. You can see it through the earthquakes, the floods, everything. It's all there. The Middle East, it could go off at any moment. Any moment. There's so many places. China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Europe. The list goes on. And there's way more than that. But it could just go off at any place. That's how we know the rapture's here somewhere. This war will not be fought the same way the other ones was. That's why God warned us. It will be fought with way worse weapons. We don't know what to talk about. But today, they throw it around like it's candy. We all know what that war is. But today, they throw it around like it's nothing, because the devil's going to get his war. And he's convinced them that they can win a nuclear war. He's convinced them. And you can see that he's convinced them. He is putting the three big nuclear superpowers against each other. He's making it move. He's making his move towards the tribulation, because he knows his time is very, very limited. He knows it, just like we do. So he's rushing to get all the pieces, the AI, the digital IDs, it's all there. Every bit of it. All we can do now is one, and pray for each other, stick together, because like I said, we're outnumbered 50-1, maybe more. Probably way more than that. But we're fighting the fight. We're on the ground fighting the fight, doing what we can. We're putting Bibles everywhere we can. I mean, we're fighting the fight till we're out of here. We're kicking the devil in the teeth. We've talked about that many times. We're kicking him in the teeth until we're out of here. And I don't think he's liked it very well, because he has come after every one of us. But that's okay. That's the way we're going to go out. That's the way we're going to go out. We're going to go out putting the Word of God out there, get people on the ark. And if we get pulled in this, tribulation saints will have a lot more. There's a lot more of them get saved once that rapture. A lot more. Thanks to John, we know that. So I'm really believe that everything, all the great watchers over the years, and planning of leaving those letters and instructions for them is what makes that happen. Because they're not going to be guessing. They're going to literally have detailed notes of what's coming for them and how to prepare for it. And that is through the Watchman community. God bless them. Like I said, these people I don't think they know what they've done. But may God bless them for putting that warning out. I was lucky enough in the beginning to catch the warnings. I never heard of this stuff. Didn't know nothing about it. And more I studied, and I started finding out that the more I was just literally just in that Bible looking at it. I started finding it all. And studying Bible prophecy, I started putting it all together. But if it wasn't for the watchers, I would have been just like everybody else. I'd be wandering around out here. But we didn't realize what was happening. But Jesus woke us all up, and thank the Lord, he did. So there's a lot of people probably will not have to go through the tribulation because of the watchers out there letting everybody know that this is close, and it is. Everything God's warned us about in these last moments is here. Prepare yourself. Be ready for that day, because I'm telling you, that trumpet could go off at any time. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you do. Trust the gospel. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4. Jesus died on the cross for our sins, past, present, future. He died, was buried, rose again on the third day, according to the scriptures. Trust in Jesus and Jesus alone. Confirm everything through him, and do not take your eyes off of him, people. Pray for each other. Love each other. Stay in your word. Eyes on Jesus, because this thing's going to go at any time. We can see it. You know as well as I do. If you're God's sheep, you see what I see. It's right there. I love each and every one of you. If I don't hear from you again, I'll see you at home.
It is time to awaken. Time to awaken. Time to awaken. Time to awaken. Time to awaken.
This man used
Now, a lot of you, well, you ain't gonna believe this, but I have not always lived. Well, I don't know if we've always been like this, but it's true. Most of us love miserable things. We secretly want to be miserable. You're thinking, man, what are you talking about? I don't want to be miserable. Well, let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. I'll never forget one time I was living in Storm Lake, Iowa. I worked at the newspaper there for a short time. The place sucked. It was a sweatshop. A lot of these small town newspapers were. But I heard a bunch of commotion, sirens going on, and it was right off the main drag there. And I went out front, and apparently a guy had an accident on a motorcycle, and he's pretty much deceased immediately. And I started noticing that there was actually people setting up lawn chairs to watch the emergency services do what they had to do with this poor soul. For some reason, people have to see things like that. There's been, we watch NASCAR races, car races, in hopes that there's an accident. There are people that do that. We, admit it. It's pretty cool when there's an accident. It's not cool when somebody gets hurt. There's a lot of things like that we do in our life we may not even realize. YouTube is a really good example. I can put up a video talking about dogs. It doesn't get many views. I put up something that's controversial or that can make you angry. That one gets views all the time. You see it on YouTube. The ones that are showing violent things that will get you upset, political stuff that just makes your skin crawl, they get a lot of good views. Movies are that way. You know, you're not going to pack a theater in with a feel-good story if there is a good violent one out there. People like watching violence. They like things that make them angry. I don't know, we just gravitate towards those kind of things. There's plenty of examples of it. I don't know, you know. People are nosy when it comes to things like that. You love watching somebody get arrested, taken off to jail. That's why the videos on YouTube do so good about. Are you eating those again? Give me these. Get rid of these things. Acorns. I tell you what. You guys get a kick out of her. But people will surf the internet looking for news stories that will upset them. They know when they find the certain story that upsets them, they're going to click on it, and they're going to read it, and they're going to sit there and stew about it. There are people on my videos that just comb the comments looking for somebody to start an argument with. Seen it many times. I've had to step in and say, you over here and you over here. Yep, it happens. I don't know if we've always been that way. I would assume we have been. Yep. It's just something about us that seeks some sort of excitement. And the gorier, the better. Now, a lot of you are going to deny this. You're going to deny, oh no, I stay away from things like that. But there is something you probably do that would be considered along the lines of what I'm talking about. I'll tell you. I know. You know, funerals, I think, is a good example of them. That's why I don't want a funeral. These are things everybody goes to. Yes, you go to pay your respects to somebody that you cared about. But deep down, I don't know, man. You have to wonder about people's intentions. When, you know, and I remember when 9/11 happened, how everybody gathers around the TV. The news stories go on for weeks and weeks and weeks because they know a lot of people are watching. I think this is only getting worse with social media because, and, you know, the way that we have 24-hour around-the-clock news now, people are glued to that kind of thing. O.J. Simpson trial was one of them. People were glued to that. There's been several trials like that over the past 20 years. People love watching that stuff. Court cases, oh man, you know, I have to admit, I've been to court sometimes and it's fun kind of sitting in there. It's kind of enjoyable watching other people get up in front of the judge and see what happens to them. People are interested in that kind of thing. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know if it's good. I just know it's always been that way. But watching those people pull up chairs, I mean, what were they hoping to see? It didn't make sense to me. And I've kind of known people were like that ever since, you know, I was young enough to figure things out in life. But I think the best thing most of us could do is limit our time reading the news. The media just goes crazy with this stuff. Everything that happens these days is overkill. If you're watching and they're getting the views, they're going to keep doing it. Not just things like that, but, you know, commercially. Today I was in the Dollar General, okay? It is 5 days from Christmas, right? Do you know what they have out already? Valentine's Day stuff. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, that's 2 months, 2.5 months away. And even the people that work there couldn't believe it. And, you know, that is another example of the media, not the media, but also the corporate world. They play on, you know, they're trying to make things, normalize things that shouldn't be normal. And as I said, like with people watching NASCAR for the wrecks, same with boxing. You're watching boxing and you're hoping someone gets knocked out. We know that's one of the, you know, rules to winning, but people want to see brutal stuff. They want to see the violence. They want to see video footage That is why everybody is out there with their cameras now, filming everything, no matter how violent it is. They want views, and they know people will watch things like that. And you're only going to see it getting worse and worse. You have seen things lighten up over time that would have never been shown on television years ago. Thankfully, you know, well, YouTube really don't let you show anything. You can't even say certain words. But I think in the future, witnessing, if somebody films a murder or something like that, I think you're going to be seeing those kind of things right on TV. That, you know, it's in the movies already, and it has been for many years, because they know people like watching stuff like that. I think we've been desensitized to violence. You see it all the time. You see these gang members beating up on an old lady, 5, 6 of them. They got them on the ground kicking them. People watch that kind of thing, so people are filming it. If we didn't watch it, they wouldn't be filming it. They'd probably be participating in it. It's just getting to be a sick world. I don't think anybody purposely means to want to see things that are terrible or read things that make them angry. It's just how we are. It's how we've been conditioned over the last 50 years. Trust me, there's people that lived before us, Civil War, World War. They've seen much worse things. And, you know, a lot of them had problems when they got home because they didn't want to ever see anything like they saw again. But yet, we have all these old war movies that recreate these scenes because people like seeing things like that. I think it contributes a lot to the violence that we have in the world. When people see things every day, especially these video games these kids are playing, they're violent. They see it every day, and it gets to where it's nothing to them. They don't have feelings. I don't know, man. Well, let me know. Give me an example of what you might have seen that you had to just wonder, what is wrong with us these days? And there is something wrong with all of us these days. There has to be. I don't know if it's ever going to be fixed. I think it's only going to get worse. Sorry to be the bearer of the bad news, but it's an evil world, and evil's always going to be there. Thanks for watching. Happy trails. Well, I remember sometime, I think it was probably about 1990, I took a second job driving a bus, picking up senior citizens and taking them to the senior center, taking them on shopping trips and see the Christmas lights, whatever it was the activity was for that week, bingo on Mondays. And it was quite interesting. And I don't know, I think I was around 24, 25 years old, you know, young and in my prime, not even my prime yet, you know, because I'm gonna live to be 150, so I ain't even reached my prime yet. But anyway, man, I tell you what, it could be as bad as driving around a bunch of kids. They would argue, and one would get off, and, oh, I can't stand her. I know. You know, things like that. But one thing I always remembered, and I kind of caught myself doing the same thing a couple of years ago. And that is, if you ever noticed when a bunch of old people get together, and for the sake of old, I'm going to say over 50. If you're over 50, you're an old people in this video, okay? You're old. In my video, you're old. You may not feel old. You may not want to be old, but in my video today, you're old if you're over 50. You're not over 50, are you? In dog years, you're 28. So you're in good shape, Kelly. But one thing I noticed, and also later on, I bartended at this, again, a second job. I would go to work at the newspaper at 4 in the morning. I'd be out of there by noon most days, and I'd go over to there was a bar across the street. And during the day, and this was in Iowa, during the day, a lot of older men, you know, World War I or World War II vets, I think we did have a World War I vet, a couple of them. They would come in and play cards and have a beer, maybe two, never really more than that, or they'd just drink coffee. The old people like to sit around and talk about their ailments. Oh, my gout's been acting up today. Old people seem to just, the weather or their ailments. There's got to be better things to talk about. And I found myself doing that. Oh, my back, and I still do it, I guess, every now and then. But since I went carnivore, I don't have many of those ailments anymore. The thing of it is, nobody gives a crap what's wrong with any of us. If you sit and you're striking up a conversation, you start off with, I had diarrhea yesterday. Man, I'm running, okay? I don't want to hear about your diarrhea and your gout. But older people do this. They want to compare, you know, and then you'll get the older guy, the older woman that they'll one up that one person, you know. Oh, Inez, she might have had the gout. But Frida, she had double pneumonia with the gout. Old people love to talk about the medications they're on. Oh, I got 72 pills I took this morning. Now, I'm not making fun of people that actually have ailments, but why do we talk about it? It's just something that just springs up about age 50. I got this problem. I got this problem. Are we making excuses because we have slowed down, that we are no longer as strong as we used to be, so when we can't do something anymore, or we have to have assistance, we have to interject that we have something that's ailing us, arthritis, bad back, bad knees, hip replacement. I think that's a big part of it. You're trying to express to others that you used to be able to do these things, but now you got this, and you can't do it no more. I caught myself doing that, and I see it on YouTube with younger people. You know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's funny, but I'm seeing titles on YouTube videos. Oh, it's over. Health scare. I'm doomed. And they got, you know, the normal things that you get when you age. Arthritis, degenerative disc disease. Some of them I've seen, they get the MRIs and they find out they have degenerative disc disease and they're devastated, man. Let me tell you something. Most of us are going to get that. It's when you age, that cartilage in between your discs, well, it degenerates. Everything degenerates when we get older. So to think it's, you know, and I've got it. But I think I have a different outlook now because these things don't bother me. And it's not the end of the world. It isn't. It's just normal aging things that we get. Carpal tunnel, I've got all this stuff, you know? But we're given, you know, they'll tell you, hey, take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and that should fix it. It doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix it. I've learned how to fix a lot of them things. I've been sharing those videos, and this isn't one of those videos. I'm talking about the humorous part, that old people cannot have a conversation with each other without having a ailment war. I got this, I got that. You know, I got this therapy coming up and I gotta do that. Yeah, it sucks getting old. It sucks that our bodies can no longer do the things we could when we were younger. Man, you know, today, oh gosh. So I remodeled part of my living room. I put some new stuff on the wall, and I have this big 60-inch TV, 65-inch TV that I got to put back up. Well, the wall is an angle like this, and I want the TV with the wall at that angle, so when I'm sitting in the new love seat that I haven't bought yet, it's perfect. and it was before. But the wall mount that it goes on is one of them that extends out and it'll turn. Okay, so at an angle, when I put the TV on, it's all the way extended out. I don't want it all the way out, it'll be up in my liver. I don't want it there, so I've got to push this big thing in and get some wire and wire the dude up. But it's too big to hold and to reach around and to do, I fought with that thing for 2 hours. Finally got some ratchet strap. Went around the TV, went through the back of the wall mount, and I cranked it up and got it back and wired it up. So I figured it out. I knew that was especially a job I needed a second set of hands for, another body, just to hold it in place. Because these new TVs, I've already broke one. They're fragile. You touch them in the wrong spot, they're no good. So I was trying to be very careful, but I had to sit and look at it, think for a while, because I knew I didn't have the strength to do it a certain way, because it's not that it was really heavy, but it was awkward. And I couldn't stretch that way. I couldn't hold things like I used to when I was 20. So a lot of these things we have, everybody's gonna get, Very few people are going to age to say 90 years old without any kind of ailments. Our bones wear out, our muscles weaken, we have muscle loss. Everything that we are going to experience, the younger generation, as they age, they think it ain't coming. That's the way they act today, that, oh no, we're gonna be strong forever. Bam, just like that, you're 50. I was 24 the other day, now I'm almost 60. It's unbelievable. But I want to be the guy now that says, man, I ain't got, I got it, but so what? I can't lift the weight that I used to lift, but I'll figure out another way to do it. My mind's clear. So I will see, if I look at something long enough, I can figure it out, right? But we got like a feed store in town. I think what's got this idea in my head is I can hear those old guys over there. They go in there and they have coffee. They sit around and they talk about things that are, their sicknesses and their ailments. It isn't going to make them go away. And I'm thinking, start eating right daggone food, you might alleviate some of them, now that I know these things. Maybe one day they'll have a magic fix for all of this, but like I was talking in another video, they're talking about having robots, little